Hello. Great. My name is Byars. I'm a professional stand-up comedian, which is a dream job if you hate money. But I've been a professional comedian over 16 years, and I'm excited to be here and share with you 3 life-changing lessons and how they really helped me survive the lowest point in my career. And really my hopes with this talk are not only to connect with the people currently pursuing their dream careers, but the people out there who are thinking about it but haven't really taken the leap yet. Because as someone who has taken the leap and seen it work out, I didn't actually decide to become a comedian until my senior year of college. I was actually about to graduate and with a business degree and had no idea what I was going to do with that. So I thought, let me try this comedy dream out and see what that's about. I have nothing to lose. Sally Mae took everything else. So we still have our dreams. So I got on stage at an open mic in front of 10 people, 4 of which were the staff at the place. And it went good enough for me to think, I'd like to do that again. And then I did it again and again and again. And then it became my job after learning some lessons the hard way that I'm here to share with you so you don't have to. Because the reality of becoming a comedian is that it takes 10 years to find your comedic voice. 10 years, a decade on stage of trial and error and failing to figure out really even what you're doing up there. And those early days require a lot of self-belief that you're on the right path, you're supposed to be here, because a lot of the early shows look like that. This is a Monday night open mic. I would do every single Monday at 11 p.m. I would be out till like 1 in the morning and then be up for my day job at 7 a.m. And this is comedy. We think Netflix specials, we think sold out shows. This is where all your favorite comedians started. Just in an open mic, in a bar where no one cares. And really, it's not really that bad. And you can take those chairs away, it's sold out, so. That's what I would tell myself every Monday at midnight as I'm waiting to go up on stage. But being in these moments required so much self-belief that although literally no one is listening, I know this is part of the process to make my dreams my career. And it really, let's take that down, I'm getting PTSD thinking about that. And it was really hard for me early on because a big part of who I am as a comedian, I'm a clean comedian, I always have been, and I built a nice career being a clean comedian, but a lot of these early shows I was doing were not suitable, you could say. People weren't looking for clean comedy at shows I was doing. I was doing like sidewalks, public buses, I performed at strip clubs. Yeah, me, at a strip club. I will tell you, nothing kills the mood in a strip club like me walking in, looking like a youth pastor. I can feel the mood shift when I walk into a strip club. They're like, who's the Mormon on a mission in here? I'm to be handing out pamphlets in here. But it was authenticity. It was me focusing on being the best version of myself at that time in my career that really helped me to persevere through those shows and really helped to motivate me to start creating my own opportunities. Instead of waiting on someone to give me a great show to perform on or worrying about what other comedians were doing, what really helped me to find early success in my career was focusing on what I can control, focus on what I wish existed. So what I started to do was produce my own shows. So here's a very fancy show that I used to produce. Look, there's a person in the chair. It's not empty like the other one. And if you look closely, there's someone in the window. They count as well. But this was an open mic I hosted for 8 years on a patio of a coffee shop. Yes, a patio. We were outside and inside at the same time. Winter, freezing cold, I'm out there telling jokes. Summer, super hot, we're out there telling jokes. And I don't want to brag, but started out getting $25 for this show. After 4 years, I negotiated up to 50, okay? So, follow your dreams, kids. It's a big deal. But it's because of doing shows like this and focusing on what I can control, creating my own opportunities, I now produce shows that look like this. This is a monthly show that I get to produce at a theater in the Atlanta area, and I love producing events, both public for venues like you see here, and I'll produce a lot of private events for communities and memberships and a lot of corporate events as well, where people just need to let go and laugh, and nothing connects people like laughter. And that's why I love comedy as a profession, because I do feel like it does have a positive impact on the world, and I get to, make a good living at it. But with all that positiveness aside, for some reason, someone, when they hear that I'm a comedian, they always want to know about bombing. They always want to know what it feels like to bomb on stage. And that's what it looks like. That's me laying on the ground of an open mic years ago. This was not yesterday. I just want y'all to know, this was not. But this is how I used to handle bombing. If a joke didn't work, I would either roll around on the floor, or I would turn around and just start rubbing the walls. That was my go-to back in the day. I would just rub the walls and just hope that I would go through some portal into a different show. Because bombing, when people ask me how it feels, when you bomb on stage, there's like a bead of sweat that starts at the top of your neck. And with each joke that bombs, it just slowly rolls down your back until eventually your whole body is just sweating. Your body is essentially crying at that point at how terrible the show is going. It's called flop sweat, and it happens to the best of us. But what I've learned from doing the bombing a lot is that it's not that bad. And at first, you realize, my life is over. How will I ever appear to my family again? And then the more you have these failures, the more you realize that it's a perfect opportunity to learn a lesson. You get to be like, what could I have done differently here? Okay, or what did I do this time that I won't do next time? Which is another way of saying, what could I have done differently here? That was supposed to be a joke. We'll edit that out on TED. Could you guys take that out? We'll edit that out. We'll AI laughter into that part. But that's part of bombing. You see, we all just experienced it right there. A joke didn't work, and you all stared at me like, why is Fix-It Felix doing bad jokes in front of us right now? But that is the best part about doing comedy for so long, is just getting to a point where I have this resilience that has helped me both on and off stage, and realizing that no one moment in your life is going to just dictate the rest of your life. These small little failures are actually big lessons that you can learn from along the way. So let's take that picture down. We don't want y'all to look at me laying on the floor. Because this is a positive thing. This is not bombing. How this event actually came to be was a really cool story that on my 10-year comedy anniversary, as I mentioned, it takes 10 years to find your comedic voice. That's really a big breakthrough for a comedian. And on my 10-year comedy anniversary, I was so excited. I had this big plan. I was like, okay, I'm going to self-produce my first comedy special, and then I'm going to go on this big nationwide tour. This is my big moment. This is my 10-year overnight success moment. So what I did, as a genius, is I released my comedy special on my 10-year comedy anniversary, February 1st, 2020. For those of you that don't remember, in March of 2020, the whole world shut down with a pandemic. So what was my big moment in creating my own success, 10 years, I followed all the rules, I did the best I could. Overnight, I'm unemployed, and at this moment in my career, I could have easily just quit comedy, could have easily felt sorry for myself, but fortunately, I had these years of lessons about being authentic, focusing on what I can control, having this resilience and having this self-belief that in this moment, instead of just rolling over and being like, woe is me, I relied on those life lessons, and I remembered that I can create my own success here, create what I wish existed. There's a lot of other comedians out here right now in the same position, so how can I help? For years, I hosted a podcast called Hot Breath, where I've interviewed hundreds of comedians about comedy. So what I decided to do during the pandemic is turn that podcast into an online community. And for over 400 days, I did a live stream. I went live every single day for over 400 days, and I did Q&A, we wrote jokes, I interviewed comics, I gave feedback and answered all sorts of questions for comedians, which is also a Q&A, if you will. And what happened is, the community is still alive today. There's comics in there writing jokes and giving each other feedback every day. And one fan of that community emailed me and asked if he could interview me for a high school project he was doing. So we did the interview, it was awesome, and we kept in touch. And then just a few years later, that same person booked me to do this TED Talk. So you just never know what your dreams are going to do for other people. And you holding back and not chasing them, you never know who's missing out on what you have to offer the world. And starting is the hardest part. So I'm going to end my talk so you can start. Thank you so much.